Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 and the completion of the bed skirt quilt. And I'm going to jump right in and show you the bed skirt because it's gorgeous and I love it. Look at that. These are the effect of the French knots. And up here I put red. I'm going to hold this close up to you after. Some of the artistry of the silk screening I really wanted to leave and thought that it totally complemented, or really the French knots are complementing the silk screening piece. So I didn't want to cover the entire silk screen with the French knots. I wanted them to complement each other because some of these pieces that you get have such a beauty. The artistry in those pieces are, you don't really want to cover them up necessarily. Like even here on this piece for the turtles, I went back and forth and I was kind of testing with swatches if I could do some Sashiko stitching onto the turtles themselves. It totally took away from the turtles. This is silk. So I could have kept playing with it and using a thinner thread and needle, but I decided that, that's just an adorable design. Why not just kind of give them some water effects? So I just, in Sashiko stitches here, kind of being little waves going through. So, and I will hold this up for you after. And then, this is built with the Boro building method, influenced and inspired with the Boro building method. So I use the larger pieces first, and then I added some of these smaller pieces in, and these are flowers. I'm gonna take this off of this. This is a painting holding them up. So I'm gonna take these off and hold this close up to the screen. Okay. Now this came out, actually it's 43 by 40. So it's a nice size for wall hanging. And so these came out, I was looking at this red piece here, I felt it was very empty. I really didn't like it. And I was trying a new style. Instead of a whole lot of movement, I just kind of wanted some flowers there. And you can see this one, I ended up kind of twisting the stem a bit. But one looks kind of like a mushroom. Here, look. This looks like the earth, really, doesn't it? Looks like the earth. This looks like a mushroom. This again over here to me looks like a map. I don't know. And I don't know, this is supposed to be a flower or a tree. It looks like a tree, actually, to me anyway. Now, I put a mandala here with just stitches. And I did it freehand. And the easiest way to start a mandala, if you don't want to draw on your fabric, start from the center out. Because then you can follow. Just start from the center. It's really easier. And then just start following those stitches straight out. If you go on the outside, you could go on the outside in if you're comfortable with it, but that might not be easier for some people. So I did a mandala there, and I have to tell you the funny thing about this. I don't know if anyone can see it, but I'm gonna hold this. This is so big you might not be able to see it in the screen, but inadvertently, first I'm going to tell you the premise here. I had the thought of this piece here. I wanted to do partial square or partial design. So that's kind of what I was thinking here, right? And then leave the flowers there. So I did that, and then I did the mandala there, and then up here, I just was kind of taking off from the triangles and just kind of do a partial one there. And look what happened, really. This was all subconsciously, but look what happened. Um, I mean, it's so close. You have an L, and you're kind of seeing this from, so there's the L. Do you see the L? L, and then O. O is the mandala. And then V. There's no E, but you get the message. So I thought that was beautiful. That came out. And this is for a friend. This is for a friend. So who I do adore. She's been very kind to me over the years. So now this is the bed skirt. Here's the bed skirt. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And there's the reds there, and I left, like I said, purposely leaving. Look at that. I love it. I'm thinking take another part of the bed skirt that I have and do just all French knots. So I'm thinking of working with that. Now and then up here, this is the flower on the printed fabric. Now, you know, like I say, you work from your soul, you work from your spirit, you listen to your feelings, the love of the piece, you know, because these fabrics will reach out to you and speak to an artist in that way. This to me looked like it could be dressed up and adorned a little bit. So that's what I did. You know, I gave it some pollen there. I gave it a stem. And, you know, it's like an abstract flower. It's not anything specific necessarily, but just a pretty flower. And this one I just kind of did a little outline of the flower that was there already too. This one, the same thing. I kind of got a leafy effect by the time I was done with it. This is a Boro patch I just added. I just put it there. I thought it was a nice contrast. I love the artistry of this. This is actually a vintage piece. This may be, this was from a large piece of fabric I had gotten out of the bin. But this is silk. This is silk. And down here, again, we have more vintage. And this bed skirt, I believe, is, well, it's 100% cotton, but it's probably also vintage, I'm guessing. It's beautiful. So, you know, when, oh, and this is also silk, the turtles. So the turtles, you know, I had done a couple swatches of trying to figure out if I'm going to Sashiko stitching on the turtles, on the graphics of the turtles, and it was taking away from it. I mean, some of these pieces are gifting you with beautiful designs, so maybe we think about bringing out that design instead of covering it up. So that's why I did the waves there, and just bring out those turtles a little bit more. And but this is you know, this piece, so this piece for me, adding the shapes, and I gotta tell you, about 30 years ago I did very specific shapes with fabric, and very tiny ones. I was making little pins. And I had a lot of fun doing that, but I couldn't, at that time, my artistry mind wasn't expanded enough to dare to do something like this. But I am starting to play more around with that. So I don't see it as necessarily as confining as I would see it in the past, because I can make them abstract. I can make them a little different. I can make them extremely simple or just crazy if I want to. So that's kind of where I'm heading. Now the next piece I think I'm gonna do is chakras, and I have this simple table mat. Look, it's all hemmed, everything's there. It's gorgeous. This is 100% cotton. It's a perfect piece to work on, and it's lime green, which I love. It's small. This is very small for me to work on, but I may do some chakras on this, or I may end up doing a bigger piece. But my next project is the third eye. It's chakras, because this is what I work through primarily. I work, from the soul, and I work as many artists do, from their spirit. So I'm going to stand up with this and just do a recap of the techniques that I used. So, and I want to show you the back. So anyway, here it is. There's your French knots through there. Sashiko Creative Freestyle Sashiko stitching, and the mandala is more of a focused stitching, tight stitching, continual stitching. This is very simplistic heart. I did do I want to show you one other thing here. I used back to back for the hemming. I'm going to go around and tighten this up on the edges. And I also have now, and I'm going to add this to all my pieces, I now have a signature. So this is my signature, and it's on cloth, and I will sign it each time like that with the date, and handmade by, and then my name, Carmella-T. So I'm not going to order a manufactured signature. I'm not going to do it. I am going to order cards. So I can send cards or hand out cards. And I am looking to do an exhibit. I would love to do an exhibit. This piece isn't going in, but I'm going to do more pieces and share with you. So, the gist of it is this: using scrap, beautiful scraps that you have around the house, going to the thrift shop, shopping for these blouses, linens, because your backings, I have a whole bin full of backings. I call them backings. And they're sheets. They're cotton and silk sheets. That's what I want for my backing. And, this is 43 by 40. So when this goes up on the wall, it's got a little weight to it. The fabrics, it's beautiful if they're all like muslins, 100% cotton and silks. Beautiful. But given the theme of upcycling, recycling, and using what we have for a dominant part of my Boro building, I'm focusing on different fabrics. And people sometimes are worried about, well, wait a minute, you got different fabrics, different stitches, different blends. How are you going to clean that? Well, a piece like this, you would spray it with warm water and very mild soap. Spray it and dust it a bit, and let it dry, but not put it, a piece doesn't go like that anyway in a washing machine. So mixing your fabrics is really okay. It's really okay with your artistry, to create your artistry. The only other thing you may consider are the needles and threads that you're using. For these silk pieces, you have to use a thinner needle, a skinny needle. And you can test out if it's going to work, if the needle's going to go through. If it's too thick or the thread's too thick, it's going to pull. It's going to pull this. It's going to put a hole in it, is what it's going to do. So anyway, these stitches, just really tell you quickly, I used I used to, what I did here, this is a chain stitch, and I made it super loose. It's a chain stitch, super loose, big and loopy. That's what I wanted. Let me see, which one is this? This is just a whip stitch. It's a whip stitch. I used a blanket stitch. Yeah, this is I used a blanket stitch around here. And then your Sashiko. And this one, I just kind of I just used the Sashiko stitching to go across. And then I let the mandala, and this was a question, am I going to have the mandala go through these pieces? And I gotta tell you, it just blows my mind every time the way the subconscious works. But when I had the mandala go straight through this mushroom, but this one, that comes looking out like the earth, if I covered that like that, that wouldn't look like the earth. You wouldn't see it. It looks like the earth, actually a flower if you look closer, but seriously, quit looking at that quickly. That looks like the earth. It's beautiful. And beautiful. And then of course a heart, and just for the sake of compassion, the heart is there. So the person I'm giving this to is a very compassionate, caring person, and so I thought that was appropriate. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this inspires you. Somebody else did ask me to go live. So I'm going to pick a project that's fairly simplistic to go live, so that way I can give my attention to you and work on the project or give some instruction on the project. And I think it's going to be a simple pin cushion with Sashiko stitching, and we'll just put it together. And but anyway, you have a beautiful, beautiful day. If you have any questions, please let me know. And thank you. I want to say thank you for my subscribers and supporters. I have well over 200 subscribers, and I just love you dearly. You keep me going. You'll never know the depth of that. So thank you so much.